Hi, my friends. My name is Trey. This is my YouTube and Trey Odyssey channel, Trey's Myths and Tunes, and my daily show, Trey's Timeless 15 Minutes of Explain. And right now, I wanted to talk about fear as a motivator. Some folks getting on and you see their body change. Let's see the NWO, WEF, WHO, and these insane tycoons try to decimate the population with genocidal nanovirus. Because they're scared they'll lose their power and run out of time. What is life? Life is a dream. What is life? It's you and me. What is life? A mystery. What is life? Well, what can it be? What is life? I'll never know if I'm too afraid to live. Fear as a motivation. You know, this, I have to admit, there was this popular book and film a few years ago called 50 Shades of Grey. Well, I myself, having Mercury in Capricorn retrograde, as I said, I've been able to use the power of discernment to use fear to motivate me properly, such as to start this channel, for example, to share my wisdom before, some kind of weapon was able to actually get me out of this body. I wanted to. So that's an example. If it motivates you to live your dream, to live your mission, your blueprint. However, that's always a dual-edged sword. Fear is a motivator, is generally, obviously, a negative, a source of war, a source of violence of all sorts, psychic violence. Every single, like I say, 50 shades of violence, coercion, all the way to the idea, the concept of the fear of God as the beginning of wisdom, not because of dogma, because it's going to pull you into patriarchy, no, because it's pulling you out of it. Because when you realize your Creator is respectful and beautiful, you're afraid if you don't honor the Christ within, if you don't honor your blueprint, your harmless, respectful mission, you are really, truly a sinner. You truly have missed the mark on life. So, young souls, newbies, people that don't know, this is, as I've said many times, literally, this is only a radio set. This has 1,000 times the power of this electromagnetically. This is the seat of human consciousness, the original heart-based Christ consciousness. Also, if you're laziness, addicted to anything, it happens to me all the time if I allow it. Fear can motivate you to being lazy. Habits can motivate you to be stuck in fear and laziness. And of course, all the mainstream media you watch and all the hijacked alternative media, such as NPR, you watch, which is also going to be designed to make you afraid. And then we have the entitled and the spoiled. Well, they're going to be naturally afraid a lot of the time because they don't want to lose their riches and their fat hubris-based existence. Well, a hubris-based existence isn't really worth too much in the eyes of the actual Creator because they know you didn't do anything and you're a fake. Okay, now, if you're using the power of your individuality, your individuation, or your ego to help others, or to do some service to make the world better or superior to the pathetic state that it has been in, then hey, maybe you're using your riches for goodness. Like if Alex Jones screaming helps people, then maybe it's good. You know, he's a dentist's son. He's from a millionaire's son. So it just all depends on, you know, no human, no spirit in a human has the right to judge anyone else karmically, man. That's where every one of us could go into being someone in a black robe, theoretically, or mentally, telepathically, and going into the wrong. So this again is willful ignorance. So the spoiled, also the superstitious, those who believe religious or cultural or scientism, death cult, dogma, and the young men with long hair who never take off their mask. Very superstitious people. Very willfully ignorant. Order followers. As Mark Passio said, the ultimate evil is the order followers. The regressives are fully spiritually retarded. These reptilians will resist the Christ. They will resist my teachings. They would try to cut me off, you know, at no cost. Till the almighty, respectful, divine part of the Santa Cruz vortex, through my complaining, pseudo-activism or angry street preacher ranting, venting to get it off my chest, how upset I was that they kept knocking me offline yesterday. And this man said, well, you're yelling at the right person. I'm a techie. So I got out my computer in the Dollar Tree store and he pressed F2. It was just F2, people. That's how much I need to take basic computer repair skills class. And so the almighty, my guardian angels, helped me to heal that. Which I thought was just, you know, infiltration, but no. Anyway, so you got to realize these regressives are fully spiritually retarded and pathetic when it comes to heart-based consciousness, yet, and vampiric, yet amazingly good at suicidal, endless war, invisible genocides, mind control, scams, and technologies of violence and conquest, and their intentions are always obvious. Always so obvious, like the narcissistic predator entities that they designed to put inside our egos. Always obvious. Really, the devil and fear, Satan and Lucifer, and fear as a motivation is only useful in these ways in hell on earth. If you or me or anyone doesn't want to be in hell on earth anymore, then eventually we start to go, well, fear is not a really good motivator. It's shitty. I could still die of cancer even though I obeyed it. But as I said, as I call the last video, as the Rastafarians would say, you have to overstand your motivation or do the shadow work, in other words. When 50% of the people are awakened, they won't believe in woke. Okay? When 51% of people awaken, they won't believe in woke. False evidence appearing real is for those who live backwards. An aware living being is motivated by joyful expansion of love. Fear-based reality is contractive. Sign your name on the dotted line. Love-based original reality is expansive. I'm not saying we're going to do this in one day or 1 year, but eventually we're going back to the expansive love-based reality, folks, and that's the key here, you know. And to do this in as much of a harmless way as possible, we have to be soldiers and spiritual warriors peacefully and harmlessly through sharing truthful, honest information about what is really accurately happening from our perspective, without a desire for dominance, without wanting followers, without trying to, sure, I want to make it entertaining and, compelling, because that's the name of this extremely competitive game of YouTube. If it's not compelling, it's not going to reach anyone. However, I'm not going to play with my hair the whole time, although it's fun. It's not about looks, or it's not about my set. the fact remains, anyone that can learn from a person in a tent has enough discernment to heal this problem. So, the thing is that when Gavin Newsom declared lockdown or house arrest for everyone in California, I was on Hawaiian Airlines for the first time, and I went to the island of Kauai for 6 days. And because I thought I'd never have another chance to go there if they're locking down the world and the New World Order. So I didn't even know if this virus thing was real or not. I hadn't researched it. So I got there and I walked several miles because the nearest town, the main capital town of that island, wasn't on the ocean, and I wanted to go camp by the beach and get in the ocean. And so I had to hike a couple miles, and I camped by this golf course. 5 in the morning, I hear Tupac, and this gray-headed Polynesian guy, I guess on meth, was starting fishing at that hour. And I took a swim in the morning. I didn't say anything to him. And I got to the campsite, and this man told me it was closed. He said he owned some property in Texas, a young man, but he had just bought a pup tent from Walmart, and so he must have told the park attendant that he owned property, and they told him it was closed. But it turns out it was it's normally $7 a night, and that's the only island that's that cheap, which is one of the reasons why I went there. And the Garden Island. And I saw chickens all around there. I must have seen 1,000 chickens. You almost step on them, and parking lots everywhere. So I figured the camping lot was closed. So I went. I started walking, and then I ended up getting on the local bus and got off at this place I thought was a out of the way camp spot. It turned out this muddy trail led to Anahola State Beach, and I set up my tent, and I saw other tent, and I heard some people squealing, and kind of seemed like a sketchy place, but I had blisters from the walk the day before. I didn't want to hike anymore. It was getting dusk. And so I played a set of music for some families there, and I was going back to the tent, and the skinny 30-year-old Polynesian was eyeballing me. First thing he said is, "Do you have a cigarette?" I said, "I don't smoke." It took me about 10 minutes to gain his trust enough for him to feel like I was okay to have me near him, and then he gave me knuckles to go get a cigarette. I did take some CBD with melatonin gummies from the health food store that night, and so at about 5 in the morning, I hear gunshots about a couple yards away from me. Well, my retrogrades in my birth chart, the place where I had gone to camp was the homelands, where the Polynesian meth heads that were homeless were designated camp spot. And it turns out the Homeland Security rode through there on a four-wheel drive vehicle soon after these shots went off, 3 or 4 gunshots, because there was a curfew on the island then at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. curfew. And it turns out there was more suicides in that week on that island than there was the whole year before on that island. So it was a gloomy atmosphere. Most everything was closed. I couldn't even get electricity to recharge my computer. So I decided to fly back after 6 days. But after that, I stayed in the campground for 3 nights. And the following day, though, when I saw this white kid with a 30-year-old man with a beard and a sexy 30-year-old girlfriend taking a cold shower, and he said, "Oh yeah, they pulled you're lucky you're still alive. They pulled a white body out of here a few days ago." And and I was like, "You're right. I was praying to God to let me live." And so then I stayed at the campground for 3 nights for free. And not only did the homeless people or the car dwellers, who most of those people were, not steal my stuff out of my tent, they were watching my food while one of them was a blonde, dready mom. I watched my food while I went to the health food store every day. If you like this comment, click subscribe, and don't let fear control you. But sometimes it is a healthy motivator to make you do something better and create a great one, my family.